Was there when you're a kid, who did you look up to? Who was whose game were you playing in when you're?
Wow, I love Michael Jordan.
I wear the number because of Mike. I think I fell in love with the game because of Mike, just seeing what he was able to accomplish. When you're growing up and you're seeing Michael Jordan, it's almost like a god. So I didn't never believe I could be Mike. So I started to focus myself on other players, and because I never thought that you could get to a point where Mike was.
So I'm growing up and I'm watching, this guy, Michael Jordan. I think all you guys know him, I think. So I'm growing up watching this guy on TV every day, and I'm like, wow, he's an amazing basketball player. Hopefully someday I get an opportunity to meet him. So I think it was my junior year in high school, I go up to Chicago and I go to a gym called Hoops where he plays basketball in the summertime.
And we were getting ready to leave, and we were literally walking out the door, and down the street, this red Ferrari pulls down the street, and it was literally like, for LeBron and I, it was like Black Jesus was coming down the street in a red Ferrari.
I didn't know he was going to be there, but I seen him walking towards me, and it was kind of like he was walking on air. I didn't know what to say. It was overwhelming to meet, to finally meet the guy I've looked up to my whole life. I had to pinch myself. Is that Michael? Who?
I couldn't believe it. Like, people, I felt the dude looked like Jesus Christ to me.
And it's like he was like Black Jesus to me. Like,
I didn't think he was real, man. You don't understand. I didn't think Michael Jordan was real. I only thought he lived in the TV, either in games or commercials or Come Fly With Me on cassette tapes.
Wow, yeah.
I didn't think he was real.
And I couldn't believe it. And we went back upstairs into the weight room. There was just me, him, G, and LeBron. And he talked to us for like 15 minutes. And that was the first time LeBron ever met Mike.
And when I saw him, I was like, if the man above would have took me that day, I would have lived a hell of a life. I swear to God. After seeing Mike.
And I honestly don't remember anything that was said in the conversation. I think he was talking to LeBron about like NBA and being a pro and giving him lessons, but it was like, everything just sounded like blurred out to me, like I was listening to God speak. It was like...
He called me a young fella, of course, and just basically told me to keep working at it, and someday I can get to the NBA. I was a junior in high school, so, I guess he told me something right, and I just kept working at it.
Yeah.
Sophomore year, 2001, you're on the court with him. What's that experience like?
They take us to Hoops. I'm going there. And before they play, they say Mike always, used to lift before they play. So we walk upstairs. I don't know anything about lifting right now. I'm a high school sophomore. I don't know anything about lifting. We walk up there. The first person I see is Charles Oakley.
Tim Grover had the gym, and we always, come in and work out.
Oak move, and when he moves, Mike is sitting on the bench press. And I was like, oh my fucking God. And, for me, when I got the opportunity, they didn't let me play for like the first hour. Because I'm like,
the young guy
I'm
had
16.
To sit there.
Yeah, the young guy, I'm sitting there just waiting my turn.
And so when he was 16, he was out there playing. And if you watch the game, he wasn't like dominating. He wasn't like, but he didn't stick out. You didn't go like, oh, there's a kid out there. It was like, oh, there's just another player out there. Like, he wasn't at all ready to defend, and he could pass, and he had the size and the ability to get in and got a couple buckets. And it'd be interesting to see how he remembers those games.
To be honest, I didn't even think I would even get the opportunity to play. And the only reason I played is because the guys that was in the league, after a few, after an hour, some of them niggas get tired. They like, well, I'm done with this shit. I'm done with this shit. Hey, young fella, hey, we need a fifth. You want to play? So for me to be on the court, at 16 years old, sophomore in high school with, my favorite player of all time, man, it was like, this can't be real, man. If you pinch me, man, I was like, please, I hope I don't wake up.
The way that he approached the game, the way that he led his troops when he went out on the court, and his never say die attitude, man, was something I always looked up to.
When I got back home to Akron and I told my boys, because they know how crazy I am about MJ, they was like, no, you lying. I'm like, dog. I was, not only did I see Mike, I was on the court with Mike, and I was like, I told you, like I said, if the man above would have took my life then, boy, I lived a hell of a life, man, after seeing Mike.
For me to meet Michael Jordan, it was like, I think it was better than the president.
I did not want to lose the opportunity to shake the man's hand that inspired me throughout my childhood. Haven't had much dialogue with him in my 20 years or 19 years in this business, but part of me wouldn't be here without MJ's inspiration. I always wanted to be like him growing up. It's crazy that the game-winning shot tonight was a fadeaway, and it was inspired by MJ. You know, the way he wore his shoes, the way he wore his uniform. I mean, all the way down to like some of the cars that he drove. How much he inspired me, and I didn't want to waste that opportunity because we're just not in the same building a lot, and haven't been in the same building a lot throughout my career, and you know, it meant something to me. And at the end of the day, for my name to come up in a discussion with the greatest basketball player of all time, it's like wow. Like I said, I did pretty much everything that MJ did when I was a kid. I shot fadeaways before I should have. I wore a leg sleeve on my leg and folded it down so you saw the red part. I wore black and red shoes with white socks. I wore short shorts so you could see my undershorts underneath. I didn't go bald like Mike, but I'm getting there. But I'm getting there. But it'd be post-career though. That's the only thing I didn't do. But other than that, I did everything Mike did. I even wore a wristband on my forearm. And so for my name to come up in any discussion with Michael Jordan or Kareem and all these great guys that's paved the way for myself and Tristan and Kev and Schlish, it's just a wow factor. I don't really have nothing to say.
Man, that's my inspiration in basketball. You know, to see what he did on the court and to see what he did off the court. You know, I didn't think it was no other number to wear besides 23.
No, I just think that, you know, we play in different eras. He's an unbelievable player. Yeah, he's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. I know it's a natural tendency to compare eras to eras, and you know, it's going to continue to happen. I'm a fan of his. I love watching him play, but it's, you know, as you can see, our league is starting to expand on very talented players, and you know, I think he's made his mark. He will continue to do so over a period of time, but when you start the comparisons, I think it is what it is. You know, it's just a standard of measurement. You know, and I take it with a grain of salt. He is a heck of a basketball player, without a doubt.
LeBron is not as good as Michael Jordan? Come on.
In terms of dominance of the game of basketball at this stage, is LeBron.
When I met Michael Jordan for the first time, I literally couldn't believe it was him.
I've said this before, not just now. I think he's had the most incredible career from an 18-year-old kid to come to the NBA, be one of the 5 or 10 greatest players, has never come close to getting into trouble. In today's society, I think it's amazing.